Hello and welcome to the I Love You Bet podcast. I'm Heather and this is my sister,
Rian. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us,
sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but...
Can I tell you about how I know that I'm old?
Yeah. How do you know that you're old?
Because I have in my pocket a Werther's original. That's what I was sucking on earlier when you told me to stop. So now I'll just carry Werther's originals in my pocket. I'm an 80-year-old man.
Is that a way that you've wasted time, or is that just your new jam?
That is my current jam. I don't know if I'll continue with it, but I'm really enjoying them. It had been a long time since I had a Werther's original.
Oh.
But when I went to Michael's the other day to get some stuff for Elliot's birthday party and a thing for me, I was like at the checkout and I saw them hanging there and I was like, yeah, Werther's originals. So, but I'm just sitting here with one in my pocket because I can't while I'm on the podcast or you'll murder me.
You can when you're not talking.
Yeah, but there's not enough time in between me talking and not talking to finish a whole one. So they last a long time.
How'd you waste time this week?
I have been listening to a book about reclaiming body trust.
Oh, yeah. The one you want me mom to do a book club with you?
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about it is that it's like, so it takes like how the body holds trauma stuff, the kind of like healthy at every size, body positivity stuff, kind of puts them together, but it really just like flips a lot of things on its head and is just like, stop trying to change your body. Like,
fair enough.
So it's all about like that we're born, like, and that at some point we lose that along the way, and like the different ways that happens. And it focuses a lot on like weight, but it's not just about, so it gets into like how like intersectionality as well. It's really interesting. I've listened to about half of it. And then I was like, you know what? I need to really get in with this book. So I bought a copy of it and also bought a new notebook to go with it, which is another reason I was at Michael's, because nothing more life-changing than a new notebook.
Man.
I know. And then this was all on the same day that I had therapy, and she gave me a daily gratitude journal. I was like, yes, another new notebook. So many notebooks. I have like my money notebook, this random notebook, this other random notebook.
I just, throughout your recent episode, did she also realize that your personality is bitter coffee grounds and that's why she gave you a gratitude journal?
No, she had a lot of them as if she were going to give them to all of her clients. Thank you very much.
Oh, man, she tricked you by buying a bunch of notebooks. I'm kidding.
That's my therapist. She is amazing and I love her.
I know. I'm glad you do. A lot of people who were on the app, the social media app Threads, where I spend a lot of time, also have a lot of notebooks that they may or may not use, mostly not. And I've gone a little bit unhinged Threads, trying to promote our various enterprises. And in so doing, I found a costume design podcast. So it is two young women who talk about movies. They talk about costumes in movies. And the podcast is called, well, they call it HAUTE SET, which is a pun. And I love you girls, but it's spelled haute. It's French. It's HAUTE. Kind of, and like that's HAUTE SET. But anyway, a super cute podcast, and I feel like hopefully if they like us, I don't know if they do. Like one of them listened to our True Beverly Hills episode, but I haven't heard back. So maybe if we make a match, we can maybe do a little podcast crossover episode, which I think would be pretty adorable.
I'm definitely going to start listening to that podcast because I love costumes.
Yeah, it's pretty. And the True Beverly Hills one is great because they actually know about costumes. So like they get into it. Like I was like, yeah, our episode is called Taco Skirt. And she's like, that makes sense. So I was like, we talk about the taco skirt. They talk about like the lining and the buttons and the fact that like her earrings and her makeup and her everything matches. And like they match the garden when she's gardening. And I'm like, yeah, I don't pay attention. Like I'm the girl with the guy who wore the jeans 70 days. And I did notice I am not going to be in a costume design podcast, but yes, I think you would like it very, very much. So yeah, so HAUTE SET, spelled HAUTE SET, 2 words, highly recommend. And it was nice to find like another podcast that only has 5 reviews, but is also totally worth listening to. So check them out, y'all. That's all I got for wasting time. Oh, wait, no, I lied. I have one more thing. So I have been working on the poop lab, trying to prep the scripts because that's going to be a mixture of a scripted show with some improv, just because I don't know how else to do it and make it work with 3 different levels of ADHD and the varying levels of sound and ability to pay attention and ability to be funny on demand. So for the scripted part, I was looking at spotted hyenas yesterday. That's going to be one of our first 5 episodes. And they've done a whole study on the epigenetics of spotted hyena scat and how you can social hierarchy through their poop. So when you're done with your body book, you might want to check out that research because they're like, this definitely is something that we could apply to humans. Yes, you could.
Like social stratification based on poop?
Yeah.
I did start listening to the podcast from the people that wrote the book. It's called The Body Trust. It's like a whole society. So they have a podcast. And I was very struck by, so it's a podcast, the episode is 3 people. And I was very struck by how only one of them talks at a time, and then there's very long pauses in between before another person talks.
God, how boring.
I mean, it was. I mean, I think it works for what they're talking about serious. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. But it was just like, oh, is this what Heather wants me to do? Is like not interrupt her, but wait until she's done talking?
It would actually help with the audio quite a lot if we didn't talk over each other. But yes.
So I'm going to try that. But also sometimes I feel like you're never going to stop talking. So I just can't wait. And I have to interrupt your ass.
Interrupt my ass who? Hey, this week we are continuing Alt Shakespeare Festival with some metafictions. So fiction about fiction. Fiction that is aware that it is fiction. We love meta. And we're going to be talking about a couple of episodes of television, specifically episodes that feature Shakespeare. Then I have a third little bonus movie that I watched that I will talk about that Ryan Davis never, ever, ever going to watch. So it'll just be me, but it'll be short and sweet, I promise. So we start today with a little series that some of you may have heard called Doctor Who. Ryan Davis, how has Doctor Who been in your life?
Oh, my Lord. Well, Doctor Who has not been in my life for quite some time. I kind of lost interest after Matt Smith. Like, he was great, but then... So I would say Doctor Who was a big part of our lives when we were living and knowing each other. Living together. We still know each other.
Living and knowing each other, you mean our entire lives? Because not true. We did not watch Doctor Who as children.
Yes. I have spent much time making a very large Doctor Who cross stitch that is now out of date because it stopped with David Tennant. No, it had Matt Smith.
Yeah. I think the first time that you encountered Doctor Who was the first time you and I went to London together. And I made us go to a TARDIS, to a police phone box and take a picture. And you were like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yes. Yeah, you didn't explain. You were like, we have to go to this thing and take a picture for my friend Jeff.
Yep.
And I was like,
yep.
Cool. And yes. And what the fuck was it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did not grow up watching Doctor Who. But I was introduced to it in a few ways. First of all, through the fantastic Russell Davis series, Queer as Folk. One of the characters is obsessed with Doctor Who. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I get this. And then Darcy used to talk about it. My friend Darcy used to talk about Doctor Who all the time. And she liked it because the actor would like bump into the sets and then sets would like shake. Deeply made. And then when I was living in Los Angeles, my friend Jeff, for whom we took the TARDIS photo, sent me the Eccleston, whatever, how to say it, season. And I was like, okay, this is cute, whatever. Like, and I was like, it's super cheesy. And he was like, no, they're doing it on purpose because they're like calling back to the original Doctor Who. And I was like, okay. And then there was David Tennant, and I was like, I love this with all of my heart.
Yes. Because I haven't told you, and I'm afraid I'll forget again. David Tennant is going to be at Lexington Comic-Con in October.
You have told me that. You sent it to me.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I guess you did respond. Yeah.
I'll see if I can make it. There's a lot of trouble this year.
Oh, I don't know that I'm like, do I really want to spend this money and stand in a line with a bunch of people who I am not going to enjoy being around?
Also, if you really want to hear me go off on something, I can talk to you about one time I did go to a Comic-Con in Houston.
That's okay. I feel like you've told me that.
I learned a lot about my tism that day. For a long time, and I do still love David Tennant. I think he's an amazing actor. I do, of all the doctors, I now think that Matt Smith was the best actor. I think he was tremendous in that role. He was so great. Any other thoughts about Doctor Who in general before we get to this specific episode?
No.
So we watched the Shakespeare Code from 2007. It is second episode of season 3. The companion is Martha. We can get into that because that's a thing. It was written by Gareth Roberts, and that matters. We don't usually, I talk about writers, but it matters because I don't think he ever written an episode for television before. He'd written for the comics, he'd written maybe some radio plays, he'd written some other things, but he'd never written for the show. And rewatching this episode, I would say you can tell, because I kind of wish they would just remake this whole episode. I feel like it was a real waste of Shakespeare Metafiction. It does start off with the troubadour singing a song, which is a lovely example of what was wrong with most love poetry before William Shakespeare wrote his sonnets, because it's just all about the singer and not actually about his lady love. And he deserved to get got by a witch. That's how I felt about that. So that was fun.
Yeah. I did note, serenading, because we've talked about that before. And then when they kill her, I'm like, Shakespeare killing him. And then I wrote, I think I hate white men. Or I hate that I don't hate white men, or something. It's complex.
It sounds complex. And then Mother Blood was on the ceiling like Toni Collette Hereditary, which I know you have seen, but that fell off. It's like Mother Blood off that ceiling. I wrote her name down so I could say it right. Frima Agyam is that they made her in love with David Tennant. First of all, she falls in love with him way too fast. It's very stupid. Her crush is dumb. And it just makes her seem like a shit companion and a bad actress. And she really was kind of an okay companion in the end. And she is actually a very good actress. But they did her dirty. They set this up so that she had no way to seem like any of that was good. I was wondering if they were filming at the actual Globe, the reconstructed Globe that is in London in this day and time. I looked it up and it was. And I've been there. Monica and I went there and did the tour. And there's a beautiful gate outside of it that has all of these icons that are representative of the plays. And that is actually something that comes up in the second book that I'm going to be publishing later this summer. So if you're a big Shakespeare nerd like me, that's something to look forward to.
Speaking of your new book, maybe Mother Blood should be the name that you were looking for. Just a thought. Yeah, when she was like, I forgot, it's been a long time. So when we were in that bed together and she was trying to make eyes at him, I was like, really? Is she really trying to start something?
Mm-hmm.
And he's
yeah.
no, not even registering, let alone not having interest.
Yeah. Well, that and so originally Gareth Roberts wrote that scene where he was going to be shirtless, and because it's David Tennant, it's like, nope. And then also they were like, no, it's ridiculous. Like, because it's like, it's just so contrived, right? And it just feels like very, very mature writing.
Yeah, it's so out of the character of the Doctor. Like,
right. Yeah. And it's like forced intimacy. Like, this isn't a romantic comedy. Why are you doing this? Like, there was no reason for it. I mean, they'd sleep in any of the episodes. Like, that show never sleeps. Like, it's not a thing. Like, it was very annoying.
I did appreciate, again, with Set, like, how dirty that pillow was that they were laying on.
Everything was dirty.
Yeah, and how fucked up everybody's teeth were.
Yeah,
like attention to detail. How when she's like not gonna kiss Shakespeare because he had stank ass breath. I was like, yeah, like Mom with that Pride and Prejudice remake. She's like, well, I do like how they're all muddy and like there's pigs in the house and things. Like it's just more real. Like, okay, but I do appreciate that they weren't trying to make and like when they're done, like she almost gets like shit jumped on her from the beginning.
Yeah. That was very realistic.
Yes.
Also sucks to be Martha. There were a lot of gaps. So it felt a little like your podcast you were just describing, where I'm like, why isn't anybody talking? Like, this gap is not telling us anything. It's not building tension. Like, it's not helping with the transition. It's just dead air. Like, what is going on? And then some of the framing was horrible. I'm like, what? Why did you put the camera there? Oh, there's no... I did think that David Tennant did a really good job of being enamored of William Shakespeare. Like, he just keeps giving him old Google eyes, which is so cute.
They called him the most human, the genius.
Yes, that was nice. I did love the line about 50-cent academics punching the air when Shakespeare stuff like the constant argument. Did that last year, and maybe it's still ongoing. I don't know. Duty Gatwa, who played the most recent version of the Doctor. Mm-hmm. And then the weirdly cute boy that was in Lady Jane, who played the horse guy she falls for.
Oh, yeah.
They were in a stage play about Marlowe and William Shakespeare. Mm. And it looked very homoerotic and amazing. Sometimes when I'm like, I could be in London, like I would to go see that kind of stuff. Like that would be fucking amazing. Yes. Hypnotized Shakespeare was really goddamn goofy. I did like the whole play on words with the witch and witch house. I thought that was very Shakespearean and cute. Good that they did that. It was fucking bullshit that Martha didn't know what Bedlam was. Like, there's no way that someone living at that time in history who was trained to become a doctor and live in London didn't know history of Bedlam. Like that no, I reject that. That is just common knowledge there.
I agree.
I was hearkening back to the days before we knew that J.K. Rowling was transphobe trash when David Tennant was called J.K. Like, because they did.
Yeah, and all that. That didn't age well at all, did it?
No, it didn't. It did that.
Very loudly says the absolute opposite of that now. Like, he is not a fan, like, which is
very much. Well, he's got a trans kid son and he's not a fucking monster, so that's a good thing. It's real cute how they set it up with Queen Elizabeth being mad at him and him not knowing why, and then that not playing until the 50th anniversary. Like, I thought that was really, really cute. Yeah. At the time, this was the most extensive episode that they ever filmed of Doctor Who. Which immediately going and seeing an episode of the SANDMAN, I was like, oh Lord.
Okay, well, time.
Everything is so much better now. Like, production values are so much better. Is better now. Directing is better now. Like, the costume is better now. The fucking visuals are like, everything is better. It's sad because you can't really make cheap TV because nobody wants to watch it. Know how good it can be, so they want to watch cheap TV. But like, good Lord. And we did get the news last week, I think. Doctor Who is on hiatus, and Doctor Who has been on hiatus before. There is a sort of informal petition on Threads to just let Black women be showrunners, which I think would be amazing. I also, if they would love to hire me and Jeff as writers for the show, we're not going to turn that gig down. I think that Jeff and I would add a whole lot to the Doctor Who universe with his love of classic Who campiness and his encyclopedic knowledge of all of the monsters and aliens and everything else, and both of us doing the whole queer thing. I think that we could add a lot. Just gonna throw that out there for the nobody listening. Ryan, are you still there?
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to finish so I don't interrupt you. Can you guess what I wrote in the only thing I wrote during the scene where she hypnotized him into writing the ending of that play?
I have no idea.
Not a fan of that puppet.
Oh, yeah. I was going to text you about the puppet.
Yeah, I didn't really take a lot of notes. Like, it was enjoyable. I looked up the stuff about, like, is there really a play Love Labor's One? And the stuff about the globe, which the research I did said when they found the foundation of the original globe, it had 20 sides. So I don't know what's going on there. And I like the reference to his son and HAMNET, which I'll never watch because I have a young son and I can't dissociate. To enjoy that, like you said, I do think it could have been better.
And it did. It got her in many, many ways.
Yeah.
But it just tells you how hypnotizing David Tennant can be, where you're like, oh, that's a great episode. We're going to watch it. And then you're like, oh, no.
Okay, but also 2007. So that was like 20 years ago. And 20 years from now, we're going to say, oh, everything's so much better now. Like, I mean, it's just technology changes. And
20 years from now, I'm going to be in my late 60s. I don't know.
Your late 60s.
What the fuck? I'll be saying. The next thing that we watched, our next metafiction, is from The SANDMAN. Season 2, Episode 3. One of the most important things, I think, to note about The SANDMAN Series 2 was that after they had started filming it, allegations against Neil Gaiman came to light in a way where they weren't shut down as they had been previously, even as far back as the 90s, when he was writing The SANDMAN, apparently, as I did a little bit of research into that. I think we still have to say allegedly, because I don't know that he's ever been arrested for anything. So allegedly, Neil Gaiman is a piece of shit who happens to have a great imagination and is a very good writer. And The SANDMAN, which he wrote alone, is a really excellent piece of literature, particularly in its use of metafiction and pastiche. So we watched the episode More Devils Than Vast Hell Can Hold from 2025.
I wrote down the name of the episode as More Devils Than a Vest Can Hold, because I couldn't the actual title.
A vest can't hold many devils, so I think that works. We have yet again William Shakespeare getting schooled by another non-human, right? So we have the Doctor schooling him in the Doctor Who episode, and then we have Dream of the Endless schooling him in this episode. It's like, no, you're really important, so let me guide you in this way that you're going to be really important and step all over your shit because I can time travel, so I'm going to make you crazy. Do you think that Dream's house should be bigger, or did it feel like it was big enough?
Can you imagine how much it costs to heat that place? Like, whew. Although I bet he likes it really cold. Like,
you can tell he likes it really cold. I think he heats it with his mind grapes, so it probably doesn't cost much at all. So that's okay.
It's so cold. Like that, I feel like it's at a temperature that is ideal for me. Like, terrarium people need not apply.
I want to take a quick aside here. This episode features fairies. The way that they draw in William Shakespeare is by having a flashback to when something has gone wrong between Dream and Queen Tatiana of the fairy people. And there's a rift between their worlds, and he's trying to mend it. And mends it by calling in his favor from William Shakespeare and having him write A Midsummer Night's Dream and then perform it. So it's very Hamlet in that he's using the play as a mirror, right? And a play within a play. So there's fairies all over this thing. And it made me think about the current dark romantasy shit that's going on and how everybody is into fairy fucking right now.
Oh,
And do you think that's going to last, or is it like a phase? Because like vampires, I feel like it comes and it goes as far as popularity, but I do think that interest in fucking vampires, which is so very high right now because of Lestat the vampire that's coming out, and I am very interested in that. That's at a high point right now, but the fairy thing is also going on, but I don't think that's going to last. I think the fairy interest is just like a weird TikTok thing and it's going to go away. Do you have any thoughts on this, Ryan Davis?
I didn't know that was a thing that was happening with people wanting to cut fairies. That's not a realm of social media that I have reached.
Okay.
Unfortunately, so sad. I mean, I think that like the Dracula, or sorry, the vampire fucking. I mean, I think that keeps, because like it gets perpetuated because like you have like Interview with the Vampire, and then you had True Blood, and now you've got Interview with the Vampire again, and the Vampire Lestat, or like it's
Twilight.
So I'm sorry. How can I forget Twilight? Yes, Twilight. So it's like you have these like very popular movies, TV series, whatever, that kind of keep it. I mean, or like what was the one with the brothers, the show, and then they had the spinoff show with the really hot guy.
Oh, Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, Vampire Diaries and
the originals.
Yeah, the original. I mean, like it's like,
and Vampire Diaries was based on a book, right? A series.
Sure. I don't know if I can know. And Buffy and you know what I mean? Like it's so prolific in our collective entertainment, whatever. Fairies, not so much. Right? Like fairies have been regulated to like child, right? To like child's entertainment, like Fern Gully, and I mean Dewdrops is a show that Elliot watches now that has fairy. You know what I mean? So like,
you're not going to let him watch A Court of Thorn and Roses when it's out?
He can watch that when he gets there. Sure. So like, I mean, I don't know, maybe because of the ties to like the childhood stuff and the innocence, like, I mean, like Tinkerbell, like, sorry, like, no, you know.
Yeah. I will say you don't get Tinkerbell vibes when you're reading these dark romances, but that's okay. I really just wanted to talk about fairy fucking, so.
Fairy fucking as often as I can in this episode. I mean, I will say this might be the best portrayal of Puck that I've ever seen, and he's very.
Yeah. And you know who that actor is, right?
I mean, I've seen him before. Yes, I don't know his name.
You know that he did that shithead Joffrey from Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah. Like as a kid, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
He's grown into quite a little actor. He's quite good.
Yeah, no, he's quite good. The Loki, on the other hand, no. Billy Eye.
Oh, girl, no. Opposite.
Really?
Yeah. Punk Rock Loki can get it. Yeah. And the part where he leans his head back and he's got his hair spiked up and all that, that's from the comic books. That's like an iconic like frame. From the graphic novel, sorry, not the comic book.
I don't think that any fans of the series or the graphic novels that would get upset by that misrepresentation listen to our podcast. I don't think you have to worry too much about it.
I love Puck's use of the word confusticate. So it's a little bit of drama on threads over the last couple of days because like one person's like, quit using big words in novels, nah. And I was like, haha, my sister's my better reader.
I was gonna say, is that me?
Was it you?
Because it was like, hey, this word, I don't know what this word is, and other people are gonna get mad if they, because remember I sent you a thing. Yeah.
No, I know. It made me laugh.
Wow.
So then I posted on threads. I was like, I'm confused. Are we not okay with looking up words and not knowing what they mean and learning stuff? Like whatever. So I had to look up confusticate. So it is a combination of two words famously used by Tolkien. I like that. We believe in the power of words because of Shakespeare, but we don't quite believe in Shakespeare. Okay, sorry, that was my notes trying to make me be smart. So there's all these conspiracies around Shakespeare. Like, did he write everything? Was it him? Was it Marlowe? Was it Sir blah, blah, whoever other person? Like, how is it possible that one person could write all these things? And then I know that you've read parts of the Air Affair, the Jasper Fforde series about the literary detectives who go into classic literature and try to fix things and prevent bad things from happening. In the Air Affair, her grandfather has to go back and give Shakespeare the plays because when he's visiting, they haven't been written. And he's like, no, you have to write these. It's very important. So he takes them back so that they will exist at all. And there's this long tradition of not believing Shakespeare as Shakespeare, that he's this thing that exists that may or may not be who we think he is. But because of his writing, we all believe that words are really powerful because of the way that he used words, because he created new words, because he played with words. I mean, a guy wrote a whole fucking book about how one line had 4 different meanings because Shakespeare was so smart that he could take that and have one line make 4 different meanings. So I just think that that tension is really interesting because in this and like in any metafiction where they bring in Shakespeare, they're always going to be like, he's the master of words, right? We believe what he says and in the power of what he does, but we don't believe that he is who he proclaims to be or what history proclaims him to be.
I mean, and I think they touched on that a little bit in the Doctor Who episode and actually gave more credit, not just to his words, but to the fact that they were written to be performed, right? Like, what,
correct.
You know,
yeah.
Right. He's not an author, right? He's not writing novels. He's writing, and David Tennant says that words are magic, but he's saying the theater is magic with the word. They have the power to change people's minds.
Yeah.
Based on like when you pause and when you don't, and the emphasis. So it's like, I think that it's words are powerful, but it's that people are powerful, right? And I mean, look at Martin Luther King and great orators, Barack Obama. It's not the words, but it's how they are spoken. And I would argue that people are uncomfortable thinking that one person could be that amazing. Right.
Talented, right.
That's genius because it makes you feel less than, right? So there's that need to be like, oh, well, he went to debtor's prison and his son died and he cheated on his wife and maybe he stole from his friend Marlowe. You know what I mean? So to tear down the genius to make ourselves feel less inept.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also that human nature to build people up and then tear them down, right? Like that's what we love doing.
Yeah.
We do that with all of our favorite celebrities.
Yep. Never meet your heroes.
Mm-hmm. So the premise of the episode of the Sandman, it's part 2 of a 2-part episode where 2 things are happening. One, he's realized that he's made this big mistake with Nada, who he wanted to marry him and be by his side and all this, and she rejects him. And he condemns her to hell for 10,000 years. And he's trying to get her back from hell. Well, at the same time, Lucifer is like, fuck this job, I give up, and gives the key to hell to the Sandman. And so he has to audition for like, who's going to be the person to take over hell. So he has all these crazy people staying at his house, demons and all sorts, fairies and demons and tricksters, gods, and all kinds. And there's a brother and a sister fairy who are there, and Noula, it is obvious that she is attracted to him and is interested in him. But I use obvious not in an obvious way. Like, you get that reading. It is something that you might even question, but it is there. Whereas in the Doctor Who episode, they're basically smacking you over the head, like, Martha likes the Doctor. Martha likes the Doctor. And he doesn't like her, and he doesn't like her. And it's just like, have some fucking subtlety, y'all. Like, god damn.
But
so
again,
I appreciate that.
20 years difference. And so 20 years in.
No.
Yes.
No.
You don't think it has anything to do with like just a different like respect for women? No. Okay.
Well, potentially respect for women. Hiring women writers makes a big difference. But look at Edith Wharton. I mean, shoot, in what, the early 20th century, late 19th century, like, there's a subtlety there. I mean, there's so many examples of affection that is, fucking think about the Philadelphia story and that writer that had a crush on Jimmy Stewart. Like, that was more subtle than the fucking Doctor Who episode. But yes, I do. If you just have a writer's room full of men, then you're probably not going to get a whole lot of nuance when it comes to romance.
No.
I love Punk Rock Loki. Anything you have before I talk about Nada?
This might be another question that you don't have an answer for, but like, why? So this is about this portrayal of Sam, but not even about, but even the like cartoon. The graphic novel. You know what? Fuck y'all. The cartoon version.
Yes.
I'm just gonna go for it. Why is this an image of a man that I am so very attracted to? Like, even watching Pokemon with Elliot, sometimes I'm like, oh, that's hot. Like, in my head, of course, I don't say these things out loud, but I'm like, ooh, that spiky hair covering an eye, super emaciated, mysterious, like emotionally unavailable, like, I don't even know. And to prove my point, I stopped watching this show after spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Sandman, stop listening now. He dies. Like, I was like, I don't care anymore.
You didn't watch the last episode?
No, apparently not. I thought I did not. Like, I watched the episode 11, but I guess there's more. I don't know.
Yeah, you need to.
Okay, I'll go back and finish. I thought it was over. Like, in my defense, I genuinely thought it was over because, like, because they like went back and they showed how everybody was, and like homegirl was at her grave having a picnic with someone else, died, and whatever. Like, I thought all the ends and the loops
died, so I stopped watching it.
I thought it seemed like the end. I was like, okay, it's over now.
I don't want to spoil it for you. There's someone else worth watching, is how I will phrase it. If you choose to pick it back up, there's someone else worth looking at.
A lot of things to watch, so I'll go back and finish.
That's okay. I can recommend that over Kardashian shit any day. Hey, so Nada, I want to get into this. Wait, do you have more other than...
Before you get into Nada, is this like, do you not feel the same about this type of male portrayal? Like, it doesn't, like, no?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, that's my Marilyn Monroe. Like, I mean, yeah, shit.
Why?
Any aloof dudes with like dark hair that are real sarcastic and shit and like emotionally standoffish. Yeah, I mean, do you know how mad I got when I found out that the guy that voiced Trent on Daria was like an old guy? Like, old dude.
The Jess Mariano, like, but then when you had like somewhat of a like anime aesthetic to it, it's just like, whoo.
Yeah.
God is a cunt. Like, God, I wish I could wear that as a shirt and not die. Like, oh my God. Like, that is such a good line. God is a cunt. Like, yes. Yes. Yeah.
That's if you try one where free speech actually means we can wear shit like that. That would be amazing.
All right. Talk about Noula. Or Nadia.
Nada. We're talking about Nada.
Okay.
So the one that he condemned to hell for 10,000 years. Did you watch that scene? I think it was one of the last scenes in the
I watched the whole episode. Yeah.
Okay, good. Just checking. I don't think this was originally in the graphic novel. I don't think the way that she calls him to account and describes how she was tortured. And so I looked it up. And in the original, she forgives him right away. He saves her from hell, and she's like, "Oh, thanks, baby, cool."
No, because when he's like, "You struck me," I'm like, "Yeah, she did, motherfucker." Is what I literally wrote. Like, what are you gonna do? Condemn me to hell again? Fuck you.
I felt like that was the writer's attempt to recognize they do find Neil Gaiman to be problematic and responsible, and it was a way of, from their point of view, trying to hold him accountable. And I thought that was really well done because they can't go at it from a court of law, right? They themselves as writers have hopefully never actually experienced any kind of alleged assault from him or alleged harassment. But at the same time, they're still impacted by it because presumably to even write for the show, they were fans. You would hope that they would hire people who were fans of the work. And if you're a fan of the work, you have to be a fan of the person who wrote it. Because if you just like the way that it's drawn, then you're not going to be a writer on the show. That's not what it is. It's the writing that's the thing. And I thought for them to take a character who was so badly abused in the context of the narrative and then change her reaction to where not only does she not forgive him, she points out all the ways that she suffered because of him. That it wasn't just that he put her in hell and that was that. It was the description of everything that happened after, which is so true of anyone who has been traumatized by another person. It's not the thing that happened. It's that you had to go tell someone else about the thing that happened and they don't believe you. And then they tossed your apartment while you were gone and you have to go clean that up. And then you have to tell it again and you have to tell it again. And then you have to tell it again. And then no one believes you. And then they blame you because they love this person. And how dare you say those things about them? And you can't trust the next time someone is affectionate with you because you think it could just that level of like, it was not just that you did a thing to me. These are all the ways that this thing that you did to me has made my life hell. And if you want to talk about metafiction, I feel like that is the real winner of this episode. It is just absolutely gorgeous and such a way to try to make everything okay, or at least to recognize that it's not okay, but we recognize that it's not okay. And to try to contend with what we do when we have a text, when we have some piece of art that is so compelling and so original and so wonderful that we want to bring it to life, to give it a new audience, to look at it in a new way. And we have terrible feelings about the person who created it.
Yeah. Or even if it's not the person who created it, if it is, because like, even if he never, right? Like that, if that's the original way that it was written, then you're correct. That's like that scene originally written is doing a disservice to the reality of like dynamics between men and women, right? Or dynamics of abuse or rejection or things. So it's like it should have been rewritten regardless of that.
Yeah.
You think, I wonder if in the original version of the cartoon, he changes in the way that he does in the show, right? So like the fact that
in the original, I think so. This is where you get annoyed with because they're playing to the audience. I'm fairly certain in the original graphic novel, he stays in that book that the way that Nada sees him is how she hears every time that she's looking at him.
No. Exactly. I mean, the fact that he changes, like the fact that he has changed and he is more compassionate and like that he lets her leave. And like that whole season is about him growing, right?
Yes.
And so I wonder,
they had to speed up. So I think it does actually happen over the course of graphic novels, but I think it happens much more slowly. And I think that they split up just so because they knew, well, we've already started this season. It's going to cost us. We've lost all this. What's the cost if we continue? Blah, blah. I mean, they had to have had those conversations. So I think that part of the reason that. Right. And so they had to choose because it's not like they had to end it here. I mean, they could have kept going. There's a lot of graphic novels and a lot of stories that they could have told. And I think that they potentially intended to do that. But I think that they chose this sort of redemption arc as a way to kind of to speed through the versions of the stories that are going to get him closer to that. Because there were stories in this one, because I've listened to the first 2 audiobooks, maybe the first 3 audiobooks of The Sandman, which James McAvoy voices the Sandman in those, by the way. And the Nada story is in there when the one with the teeth eyes, whatever his fucking name is, that guy and his whole redemption story, like that comes in later. So I think that they tried to kind of stay with the way that it was published, but then they pulled in some stuff that happens later on to kind of speed up that redemption arc.
Yeah, the Corinthian,
yes. Eyeball teeth. I found this article in Pop Matters about the graphic novel just because I was kind of curious about the Shakespearean part of it. I'm quoting here, still probably the most notable is that it was the first comic adaptation of Shakespeare to be recognized as a form of serious and prestige art. So it was book 19 became the first comic to win the World Fantasy Award for Best Short Story, which netted Gaiman a huge amount of critical acclaim and dramatically increased his audience size. DC Comics would capitalize on his prestige and use the Sandman as the flagship property for its new imprint, Vertigo Comics, intended to publish more highbrow literary work. And then I just have a few things to say about a movie that I cried to, a final metafiction for this episode. I watched the aforementioned HAMNET that Ryan has said she'll never watch. I watched it on purpose because I wanted to cry and I knew that it would make me cry. I don't know that I've seen any other Chloe Zhao films. This is based on a book. I haven't read the book. I find it very interesting how they actually try to decenter Shakespeare in it. It starts with Jessie Buckley, and she's in the woods doing her kind of witchy stuff, being a little Nell. And the framing and the camera, they're very free-flowing. Like, it's very much someone's just holding the camera and kind of following her around. Everything's very loose. And then as soon as she runs into Shakespeare, everything tightens up. She's in a building now. She's no longer in the forest. And so you have the structure of the building, and the camera is no longer freeform. It's on a tripod, and everything is like cut, cut, cut. And I just thought that was really well done to just immediately establish the difference between these two characters. And that try as she may, even though he says he loves her as she is, part of their struggle is always going to be that she is this freeform being and he is more rigid, right? And that honestly, they all their married life apart. So essentially what happens in the movie, in a way, nothing happens in this movie, but in another way, everything happens in this movie. I think that one thing that I found interesting, so the author never actually names him Shakespeare. And I know that because I was watching with subtitles on, because I watch everything with subtitles on. So in the beginning, he's known as the tutor because he's tutoring Latin or Greek or whatever. And then they marry and he's known as the husband or the father or something like that. Like they never, until the very end when she goes to London, then he's called Shakespeare. But they just never say it. I thought it was such a cool way to decenter him, to like take him out of it. You just take his name out of it. And in a way, you make him an object, right? Like he is this thing to her. He is a tutor to her. He is the husband to her. He is the father to her. He is only known in association to her and the children. There was another thing that happened early on where he's trying to talk to her. And I have no idea if this is true or not, because again, I don't really know anything about Shakespeare. The way that the novelist portrayed him is that he was someone who struggled to find words in the moment, and that he could write beautifully, but he really struggled to express himself verbally in real time, which just from like a writer's perspective is so beautiful. Then the next thing I wrote was fuck men, women have always done everything, because she goes out into the woods and gives birth to this baby, and then she gets stuck in the house and has the twins, and there's like the river's flooding and she just wants to get out of the house to go to the woods to have her baby because she's like half witch or whatever. Not really, but you know, she like does a bunch of like witchy type stuff, and they won't let her out of the house, and the water is like flooding into the house. So it's like nature is trying to get to her, she's trying to get to nature, and it's a whole thing. And it's a movie that is stunningly beautiful, but it's meant to be felt. It's like a Luca Guadagnino film where like it's all about the emotion of it, absolutely about the emotion of it. And I think that everybody's like, oh, it's just grief porn. And I'm like, well, it's more than grief porn, but it is emotional porn. I'll call it emotional porn. I have no problem with that. Like, that's fine. I also thought it was interesting that it co-starred Emily Watson because she starred in Breaking the Waves, which was another movie that just made me like sob and sob and sob. When I saw Breaking the Waves, I like watched it downstairs and I ended up going upstairs, cried all the way upstairs, and then threw myself on the bed crying. I was just sobbing and weeping Midsommar style. It was like, so this time I didn't cry quite that hard, but this was one of those where I'm like, okay, I'm done crying. And then something else would happen and I would be like, no, but she's so, and then crying. And then the other thing I would say, if you really want a masterclass on how to portray the way that audiences received Shakespeare in real time, do not watch the Doctor Who episode, The Shakespeare Code, because they were trying to do that by showing you, look at all these people, and they're the unwashed masses, and they're all here in the daytime, and they're paying attention to Shakespeare, and look how many there are. There's so many of them. The way that they filmed the scene where she goes to see Hamlet in London is at the Globe and is struggling to break through the crowd to get to the stage. And at first, she doesn't understand what's going on with the play. And her brother has to keep explaining to her what's happening because she doesn't understand the language. So you feel like anybody who's ever encountered Shakespeare has that feeling. And she's angry because she thinks it's going to be about her son, but it's not. And then she's talking back and everybody's shushing her like, it's Shakespeare, shut up. And she's like, what's going on? And toward the end, she's at the front of the stage and reaching her hands out. And she's not the only one. Like, other people are reaching their hands out. And even when you get to the fight scene, which is like the part where I'm usually like, oh my God, I don't care. You're all going to kill each other. It's fine. The way that it was filmed, you just get like, oh, this is why. This is how he can hold them for 3 or 4 hours standing on their feet. Like, I get it. I get it now. So I think that for a movie that is quote unquote about Shakespeare, its ability to decenter him, to focus on the emotion and give less meaning to his words while still giving a significant amount of meaning to his words, it was really well done and just beautifully acted. Absolutely beautifully acted. So I know you'll never ever watch it, but I recommend others do, however you feel about Shakespeare.
Yeah. I mean, maybe when he's like a teenager and being a bit of an asshole, I'll be like, okay. But then, like, my baby, he was so sweet.
My baby. Especially because he's got that kind of lighter hair. Well, I mean, he doesn't look like Elliot at all because he's very round face. But yeah, it was a beautiful film. I recommend that everyone watch it.
I know all the English teachers at my school loved it and went and saw it, and then we're like, do we want to? Because they have a book club that I'm a member of, even though I never go. Yeah, they were like, what if next month, instead of doing the plan book, we do HAMNET? And I think I was like, yeah, that's awesome, because I didn't know what it was about. And then I didn't read it or go or anything, but...
Yeah, I don't know if I could read it. That might be too devastating.
Thank you. That is it for this episode of I Love You, But. What made you laugh? What made you cringe? What did we forget? And what should we talk about in future episodes?
We want to know your thoughts. Find us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at I Love You But Pod, or email us at iloveyoubutpod@gmail.com. Listener email and comments may turn up in future episodes.
This podcast is independently produced by us. You can support our show in a few ways, like maybe tell all your snarky besties to listen.
Be sure to rate, review, and follow I Love You But wherever you get your podcasts. And now you can help offset our production costs with a donation to buymeacoffee.com/I Love You But Pod.
Thank you.
I'm Heather Davis.
And I'm Rian Davis, and we wish you lots and lots of conditional love.